So something pretty crazy happened the other week. The day this video goes up, the 13th, is when I can finally talk about this. I haven't been able to talk about this because of embargoes and stuff, and you're not allowed to talk about stuff before a certain date. Whatever. I had kind of an I made it moment. I know the community is still growing. We have a long way to go still, but we're climbing very rapidly. We're, a little less than 350 subscribers until we get to 8,000. But I got an email from the company, I guess you could say, that I go through to get codes, and the one that I got invited to the THQ Nordic creator program. I got accepted into that through this website, and I got an email, and it was saying that, hey, try out this demo. You're eligible for a code, for a key for this demo. And I'm like, surely they're not talking about Titans of the Tide. Like, surely there are way too many games coming out this year. There's no way that it's just going to happen to be Titans of the Tide. So I open the email, and it's like, here's your creator kit. This is when the embargo is. And sure enough, I got sent the code for the Titans of the Tide demo. I am finally in a position, thanks to every single one of you, that I get to make content like this in advance because you guys turn up for every single one of my videos. My Yuka Replayly video continues to do so well. I'm so grateful. And the fact that this game, one of my most anticipated games of the year, but literally just behind Bonanza. I love Battle for Bikini Bottom, my third favorite game of all time. I love Cosmic Shake, and now I get to play the demo for the third game in this trilogy, all thanks to you guys. So thank you. All this gameplay you're about to see is mine. I'm going to do a commentary over it. I didn't commentate as I was playing. I feel like I would have better insights talking about it afterwards, but all the gameplay you're about to see is mine. If it lags here and there, that's because my gaming PC isn't all that great, but most of the time, at least on my end, it was 60 FPS, so just note, when you buy the game, it's probably going to look a little bit better than mine. But I can't wait for you guys to see this. I'm so honored that I get to be a part of this journey. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into this demo. So kind of like I just said, all of this gameplay that you're seeing right now is in fact mine. I captured this myself. And also, like I said, when you play the game next month on November 18th, when this game launches on PS5, the Xbox Series consoles, PC, and the Nintendo Switch 2, it is going to look maybe substantially better than it does here, just because I had to run it on a little bit lower graphic settings just to have it run at 60 FPS on my PC. So not a huge deal to me, but if you're sensitive to that, I'm sorry. And right off the bat, the first thing that I notice is that SpongeBob just feels better. It looks and feels a lot like Cosmic Shake, but even Cosmic Shake, I will say, felt a little teeny tiny bit floaty, and that's maybe intentional because obviously it's underwater. But as we also keep moving, and having SpongeBob having a 3-hit combo just feels so much better. It feels so much less clunky than just having one hit, and I get why they did it in the past. It's not an Elden Ring game, it's not a Soulsborne game, it's a SpongeBob 3D platforming collectathon. And that's exactly what this game is, make no mistake. But having that combo just gives you a little bit more freedom, and it just feels better. A lot of what I'm going to say in this video is that, kind of like how I was comparing Yuka Replayly to Yooka-Laylee, is comparing this game to Cosmic Shake, because even though that game only came out 2 years ago, by the time this game comes out, it just feels better. It looks better. It screams confidence in pretty much every regard in the presentation, and as we get further along, you'll see the cutscenes are so much cleaner, and this part where SpongeBob has to go and he's getting all these supplies from the attic, it's a great natural tutorial. You unlock your double jump here, which obviously they don't make you wait too long for that. Having the combo, it says right there. It's just so natural. It's so nice. And we're going to get into something that I really love about the buildings and just the interiors of everything as we keep going along, because that's something that myself, along with probably most people, that was a complaint that we had with the Cosmic Shake, is that there weren't any interiors to most of the buildings, if any. And obviously there were in Battle for Bikini Bottom. So this, they remedied that as we keep going along. SpongeBob's still up here. He's going to go down. He's going to go into the kitchen. And I love this change in camera. It's such a simple thing that 99% of you probably wouldn't even notice. Like, who cares? It's just a different camera angle. But it just feels better that it doesn't cut directly to a cutscene. It has you move and go to the grill. And I just love that. And then we get into this cutscene, which you've seen most of this if you watch the demo, the demo, I guess. It might have been at Gamescom, I don't really remember, but Game Riot put it out. I'm sure Eurogamer put it out. A lot of other different outlets put out this demo, and now I just, I'm able to play it myself, and there's even more content as we keep going along. So I'm gonna skip over this cutscene. If you haven't seen it, you can YouTube it, but it's great. Everyone is animated so well. Maybe I won't skip it. This is so good. Something else that Cosmic Shake did, it had like the freeze frames, right? The super detailed, a lot of the time really nasty art that they would play, just like the show does, especially back in its prime. But here, they're timed perfectly. In Cosmic Shake, there were a lot of times where they were timed, it was off, and it didn't quite fit in when the punchline was supposed to hit. But here, it works perfectly. I'm very impressed. So yeah, we see Flying Dutchman and King Neptune getting in their little argument, their little spackle. And then we're going to skip forward a little bit. And then Flying Dutchman gets super peeved and he explodes. Literally explodes like a hydrogen bomb. And it's a great visual. It lagged a little bit for me, but it loaded in nicely after a couple seconds. Yes, very cool visual, him exploding and things flying through the air. And we are now Patrick. We now get to play as Patrick. And one thing that is just so awesome about this entire experience, not only SpongeBob, not only Patrick, but both of them, they both have never felt this controllable. Like, they've never felt this in your control. They feel so tight, and yet they're still like the perfect balance of floatiness, if that makes sense. We got the houses in the background there, and you can see also when Patrick walks in the sand, he depresses it. He leaves a little trail, and that's so sick. Just nice little details like that. I love having doubloons as the main currency. I think that's the best currency we've had so far. Obviously, I'm a sucker for the shiny objects. Lots of nostalgia there. And I didn't mind the Cosmic Jelly. I really enjoyed the Cosmic Jelly for the most part, but having the doubloons, I think, just makes the most sense. It's the most streamlined. I think it looks the best visually, and I just dig it. We're introduced to our first villain here, and the combat. Patrick, just like SpongeBob, has a 3-hit combo. Way more creative than he's been in the past. And another good point, or a good time to point this out, you now have a little indicator below you. Because you have a real shadow now that's cast like behind you, you have an indicator underneath you now. So if you're making a jump and you're unsure of where you're going to land, which, let's be honest, that's going to happen quite a bit in a 3D platformer. That's going to happen a lot. So I love that they added that. And we're also trying out Patrick's burrow ability, which feels so amazing. I was not expecting it to feel this good. It's so fun to do like little dolphin jumps and those things at the end of this platform. They kind of shoot you up, kind of like a geyser. It's so great. It's such a unique ability. Like, it makes each character, and as you'll see as we keep going, it makes each character a necessity for different situations. It's just a great mechanic to introduce for this character because, in Battle for Bikini Bottom, yeah, Patrick was the only one that could throw stuff. Sandy was the only one that could lasso stuff. SpongeBob, Cruise Bubble, and Bubble Bowl, stuff like that. But here it just feels more natural, and with the new graphics engine and the way that everything is just so fluid and animated and just looks so nice compared to the last games. And obviously, Cosmic Shake, Battle for Bikini Bottom, they look good. They are very good looking games, but this is just a big leap. And the way that Patrick moves, it just feels a little more like you're actually playing as the character and not just a model. It feels awesome. And I skipped over a little bit again because you've seen most of that in the demo already, and I didn't really have much to say about it, but it's just classic collectathon 3D platforming goodness. I love that Patrick has a bulk of the introductory tutorial here. I like that, it's kind of a shift from SpongeBob. It's a SpongeBob game, but they kind of give Patrick his time in the spotlight in this intro, and I think it's really effective. So we have some classic 3D platforming right here. We are working our way up to the Krusty Krab. The glider is obviously back. This moveset is the best that it's ever been in a game like this, and using the burrow and getting those tikis is so unbelievably satisfying, and it's not anything that I was expecting, so kudos to THQ Nordic and Purple Lamp for, giving moves that feel good. And then we are introduced to our final, I'm not even going to call him a boss because he was so laughably easy, but our final encounter, I guess we'll say, before we get to the hub world. And the hub world, whew, it is so cool. I can't wait to go over with you guys. But yeah, we're going to fight this guy real quick. I do get hit a couple times because I was on my phone. So obviously sorry about that. But we all have our moments. Here we are fighting the Slammer. Good design, great design. I love the doubloon aesthetic, the ghosts aesthetic, Flying Dutchman. I think it fits so well. Huge Revenge of the Flying Dutchman vibes. Absolutely love just the whole visual style of the entire game. Looks good. I think it looks fantastic. We got some little drones, little minions we got to take out, some more tikis, get those doubloons. Take out the Slammer. He's defeated at last. Not really at last because it wasn't that long, but this is when we are introduced to the hub world. The flying patty, I believe, is Mr. Krabs aura farming. SpongeBob saying, get up here. And we go up, and this is where I was very impressed already, obviously. Like I've said, it's so surreal being able to play this game a month in advance. So lucky, so grateful. And having a hub world like this and having it realized in this way is just insanity to me. There's so much here. I can't wait to go over all of it with you guys. Very detailed. Again, I think they're using Unreal Engine 5. Looks beautiful. And one of the biggest compliments I'm going to give this game, and again, I've only played the first 40, 45 minutes, is that it feels like everyone is so unified this time around. Like, Battle for Bikini Bottom, yeah, it was Patrick, SpongeBob, and Sandy, but they felt very, isolated, separated from each other. And with Cosmic Shake, it was, again, SpongeBob and Patrick, no Sandy this time, and it was very much SpongeBob's game because, Patrick was a balloon the whole time. But here, we have, as we'll see a little bit later, how SpongeBob and Patrick can switch instantaneously. Whenever you need to switch characters, you can switch. They're doing it right here. This was such a good, I was laughing out loud. This was such a funny moment, having them, like, they keep doing it, and Mr. Krabs just starts getting annoyed. And it's so funny. It's very on brand. But as I was saying, it feels like SpongeBob, Patrick, Mr. Krabs, and Squidward are on this adventure together. And as we get into this next area of the demo, you're going to see what I mean. But like here, they're all together. Like, they're all, this uprooted all of them, right? Because the Krusty Krab is gone. Or like the Krusty Krab is destroyed, essentially. And so they are all in a different situation now than they were because of the Flying Dutchman's actions. So they are all going to have to figure out what to do together. This is not just SpongeBob's multiversal stuff, his shenanigans that get everyone else needing to be rescued. This is everyone is still in the same world, and they just have to figure out what they're going to do to stop the Flying Dutchman and get everything back to normal. And I love it. It feels, and I know it's a SpongeBob game, 3D platformer. They're not always the most story-driven games, duh. But it does feel, out of the first two, BFBB and Cosmic Shake, this does feel very much so the most, quote, story-driven of the three so far. I think it's very fresh. All of the animations and the cutscenes are very charming. They're not, nearly as stagnant as they were in Cosmic Shake, especially BFBB. They were very much improved in Cosmic Shake, but even here, a lot of these cutscenes, this really isn't a cutscene, it's more of just like a dialogue thing, but in the actual cutscenes, it feels like it could pass as a 3D SpongeBob movie, and I absolutely love that. And you know how I was talking about the interiors earlier? This is what I was talking about. You can go in all of these different rooms. There's a little mini game that I do here. I start out doing pretty good, and it gets just worse and worse as we go. I'm not going to show the whole thing because it was quite lengthy. But it's a fun little game, a little side quest, I think, that I got credit for Mr. Krabs. Get $300 for Krabby Patties, because that's one of Mr. Krabs' mantras in this, is that, yes, people can stay on the floating patty or the flying patty, whatever it's called, for refuge, as long as they have their wallet, which is Mr. Krab's words, not mine. Thought that was very, very funny and very on brand for him. All right, so now we're going back around to the back of this little building complex here, and even the bathroom. They didn't have to include this, but they did. Like, there's a bathroom here. That's so fun. That's so funny. And that little point, that little reticle, that dot on the right stall door is a grapple, which Patrick has to use. We didn't have the grapple ability at this point, so we'll have to go back to that when the game fully launches, again, on November 18th on all platforms. Here, Mr. Krabs' office. He's still got his office in here. It looks awesome. I love the different camera angles so much. I really feel like they put so much effort into just every ounce of this game. The animations, the models, the way that the models move, the fluidity of it all. It feels very high budget, I guess. And I know this game probably isn't the most high budget game ever, but you can't tell because it feels very polished. From what I've played, the 45 minutes of gameplay that I did, it is extremely polished, and I was very, very impressed with what I was experiencing. So now we have to destroy these ballasts, and it took me a little longer than I'd like to admit that you have to use these explosive barrels and not the boxes. I couldn't figure out where the heck they were. But I finally found them, and so now I throw all of them and they destroy them, and it triggers, I believe it triggers a cutscene, and then we move on to the next world. And the next world really, really blew me away with not only like what was offered story-wise, gameplay-wise, but mechanic-wise. There is a really cool mechanic that I did not expect them to use, and especially not in this capacity. So we're going to skip ahead again a little bit to Goldfish Island. All right, here we are. We have arrived on Goldfish Island, and as you can see, it looks beautiful. And this is on a mid to low end PC, mind you. So just imagine how it's going to look on your Switch 2, on your PS5, on your high end PC, on your Xbox Series console. I love that the Tikis are still here. They're pretty much a mainstay in this franchise, and I'm very happy for that. The Karate Kick, it's back from Cosmic Shake. One of the best things that game did. The Karate Kick. It's back, and it feels and looks better than it did, which I didn't think was possible. We meet Captain Goldie here. We have some fun dialogue. It actually is quite funny. Again, all the animations are spot on. Then we fly down here, and if this is correct, yes, we're going to go to the left. We're going to destroy these tikis. We're going to jump across this little waterway, destroy these and get hurt because I'm an elite gamer. And we're going to go talk to Mr. Krab. Yes, this is such a good cutscene, and this perfectly exemplifies everything great that this game is doing. This cutscene is so funny. I know you probably can't hear it super well because I'm yapping, but the animations and everything are just so good and so funny and so much like the show that I was like, this is everything that I love. And again, like I was saying earlier about all these characters being unified and kind of working together to solve this problem, Mr. Krabs is here on a, quote, father-daughter day with Pearl, but in reality, he's trying to find the treasure, figure out how to fix this with SpongeBob and Patrick. And I just love that there's kind of an odd sense of camaraderie between them because they are all trying to figure out, even if Pearl doesn't want him to be doing that right now. Obviously, she's kind of PO'd that he's putting his treasure, putting this crisis above their father-daughter day.
Daddy, you promised! It's bad enough that we're spending Father-Daughter Day on this dump of an island. Have you seen its kelp reviews? 1 star! Well, we're gonna squeeze the most out of that 1 star, you and me, unless you're looking for a 1-star kelp review.
Of course, my precious Father-Daughter Day it is.
Yay!
Change of plan. You two make sure we get on that jungle path and find me gold.
You got it, Mr. Krab, sir.
See that you do, or I'm docking your pay.
If you do, you will hear from my union.
What do you? You don't even work for me. I ain't paying you no how.
Daddy, come on!
Coming, sweetheart.
So after that cutscene is over, we continue. I'm kind of just exploring right now, really just taking in how amazing, and I can't overstate this, how amazing the game feels. Not only does it look spectacular, it looks better than it ever has, but it feels so good. So now Captain Goldie's telling us that we're going to have to go and fix her lighthouse, which kind of a tedious thing to do, but it's very short, and it introduces us to one of the best mechanics that I can honestly say this, one of the best things that a 3D platformer's ever done, just coming off of Yuka Replay. We meet Sandy here, and she talks about how there's something that we need to do. She introduces us to something that she thinks it'll be helpful. And it is extremely helpful because she introduces us to the surfboard. And it is so well done. If you remember in Cosmic Shake, it was it wasn't a full-on surfboard. You would use it very circumstantially, if that's even a word, when it allowed you to, right? And now you can push L3 or whatever the button is on your console, and as far as I know, you can use the surfboard to get around faster whenever you want. Whenever you want to, because, a lot of 3D platformers, they're so big, and there's not really a way to get around faster that's not fast traveling, and it just kind of takes you a while to run there. I don't know if the surfboard's going to be with you the entire game, but it was with me for the remainder of the demo. You push L3 and you can use the surfboard whenever you want, and it gets you around faster. It's got great animations, great sound. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that something like this was being offered in a 3D platformer. I was very, very impressed. So we get to the top of the lighthouse and we, do our 3-punch combo. We fix the flickering light. It is now on full brightness all the time, because apparently having it on flickering brightness setting was a safety hazard, according to Captain Goldie. So we're going to go back to Captain Goldie, and we are going to figure out what to do next. So we get back to her, and she gives us the Fork of Destiny, or the Fork of Truth. It's not really called either of those things. That's just what I want to call it, because it's funny. She explains that this is what we're going to need to get to the treasure hoard in the jungle. Some great Easter eggs in that little thing. We got the underwear, we got the sock, we got Doodle Bob. A lot of great stuff. The floating shopping list ghost that Mr. Krab drew SpongeBob. So many good references, and it just continues to be a very well-written, very funny, well voice-acted game, which I didn't expect anything less, but it's tenfold here. It's blowing on every cylinder. It's firing on every cylinder. So we do some more traditional, very fun, very well-done 3D platforming here. We go up this little ramp, I guess, stairway, not really stairs, but whatever. Again, we're doing the burrowing into the tikis. It's so satisfying, and the rumble and the vibration of the controller are really well done. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna get on this. We're actually gonna go and get this treasure chest first, because I noticed this as I was playing, and I'm like, you know what? You can never have too many doubloons. So I went over and I got that real quick. Then we go back over, and Mr. Krabs and Pearl, I actually wasn't expecting this, they're waiting for us up here. So Mr. Krabs, like I said, he is still actively investigating. He is a part of this, and I absolutely love it. Mr. Krabs is my favorite character in this show, one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. You unlock the grapple with Patrick. You grapple it, and after you grapple it, the demo's over. Right after you grapple it to pull the gate down, the demo is over. I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit longer. I didn't go into every single detail because I'm sure someone else will. And the demo's been on, not all of it, I guess. The hub wasn't necessarily on YouTube, I don't think. Maybe it was. I don't know. I'm not that observant. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, for supporting the channel, for my members, for my Discord members, for my subscribers, people who like and comment on the videos. Literally every single person that's got me to the point where I'm getting demo codes for some of my favorite upcoming games. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a great week, guys. Get excited. This is the year of the 3D platformer. Take care.